and welcome back. Or welcome for the first time if you've never been welcomed before. My name is Priestess Liza Mystic, and I am a Reiki master, a non-denominational priestess who offers chaplainship and guidance on the spiritual path, and a CTAA certified spiritual guide. You found yourself at the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Inward Path, which means that if you watch further in this video, you'll learn a little bit about what it's like to tip your toes into the endless universal pools within you, and hopefully to do so safely, so that the madness one finds themselves in at the edges of our universe doesn't seem so lonely. So you know that there are others of us here that have been there too, and we understand. Don't forget to drink your water and have a teddy bear. I feel like it adds quite a different effect if I just hold this microphone menacingly while I tell you this information as well. Let me explain something to you that is very important about your brain, about your subconscious mind specifically. It speaks in metaphor. It needs to have a symbol for something to understand it. So, we find ourselves in life after having stumbled through for a certain amount of time, kind of becoming aware and going, I am a me. What is a me? How does a me do? And so then, after stumbling through our lives perpetually, we have now fallen down a rabbit hole into ourselves after stumbling. And in order to truly embrace that chaos and kind of extend our umbrella, right, we have to have some pretty steadfast symbolic tools. You see, the subconscious spends all of its time operating your basic functions: memory, breathing, circulating the blood through your blood veins. Your ego, your conscious mind, spends all of its day trying to avoid the emotions that come up from your subconscious doing its thing. So basically, when you're avoiding danger all the time, when you stop and take this look and then fall into yourself, you come across these things that you've hidden. So it becomes difficult in these times, and it can be some of the most secluding of experiences, because it appears to other people as though you have gone mad, because these realities are only in your mind's eye. They can only be seen within you unless you have someone who is very, very attuned to you. So in this journey, we oftentimes have to become our own friends, which the Tibetan monks have mastered with tulpamancy, which is a form of kind of molding thought into a being so that it may keep you company in these times of aloneness, of gnosis. And so, symbolism, knowing your symbolism based on everyone, cross compared to everyone else's, knowing other people's symbols, knowing the symbols that society uses, all of these things. Symbols are one of the first most important steps on your path. To know them, to contemplate them, and to know your symbolic cohesion and how your magic thus works. Now you've got the basic idea of how to be like, okay, I've gone into a panic attack, I've gone a little bit too far into the rabbit hole, and now I need to calm down, rainbows and sunshine, right? Okay, so that's what that tool is for. But now you can delve a little deeper into states of consciousness that might induce this, right? So you'll start to learn meditation, and you'll start to learn all of these symbols just based on your basic Google searches for whatever path. It really doesn't matter what path you're into. These are the things that you're going to come across first, because it's how your psychology works, and it's how your meat suit is manifesting. So you're then going to start experiencing different brainwave states and states of consciousness that will be triggered by meditations that you try, that will be triggered by certain spells, incantations, just thinking in a certain way, or intaking different foods, or stopping the intake of certain foods, etc. So many things can start to make your brainwave state fluctuate, and the actual the conscious state that you are in, right? So it might help to know a little bit about the different ones, wouldn't it? So, depending on which group of people you study from, which tertiary source, which primary sources, where you're searching from, you'll come across a few different terms. Trance, meditative state, the brainwave states, hypnosis, gnosis maybe even. And most of these really just refer to theta wave, brainwave state, theta and, theta and gamma. These are the two most useful, really. I highly recommend your own research into this, obviously, because the way that we're all filtered, the light is filtering through us, is completely different. Astrology, right? That's within your symbols, though. So add that to your list of symbols that you need to know within yourself, because these are just ways that the light is transferred to make you. When you were born and you were first exposed to light, that's what your natal chart was. So you have all these different brainwave states, from awake in the middle of the day to awake and in touch with the highest, like quantum consciousness is what I would call it in my own theories, and certain others do use that term, and then to deep sleep. So looking into each one of these specific things, trance being a common Western magical term, hypnosis being a very scientific way of understanding, reaching the subconscious state and placing suggestions there, gnosis being a kind of a mix of like magical traditions and scientific traditions. And then you would find that there are ways to trigger these brainwave states. You would find breathing techniques, potentially visualization techniques, diets and substances that you can put yourself on regimens so that brainwave states are easier to access. Binaural beats, scene and setting, just being able to change the way your setting is appearing so that your brainwave changes, the vagal nerve, the vagus nerve, and that vagal ladder that you climb, and being able to navigate that well. You might find neurolinguistic programming helps you, which is a type of science that helps to learn how your brain speaks so that you can speak to it in the most efficient way and help it run in a way that works for you instead of against you, right? So these are all very, very useful things that one might use on this certain step on the awakening path. After finding their symbolisms within themselves, they might begin to understand psychonautics or the different subconscious states. I highly recommend that you've been taking notes, right? And that you might take a break at this point and kind of research some of these topics that I've spoke about and mull things over for yourself. Kind of define some of these things I've been talking about for yourself. Who knows? This video could accelerate you on the path, not just set you up for readiness. Now that we've taken a break and regurgitated, digested, hopefully not regurgitated too much of it, but digested some of the things that we talked about already, let's move on to perception. Perception is everything. Where attention goes, energy flows. And this is one of the greatest tools in the magician's tool belt and will be a mantra that you should embrace thoroughly on this process of finding your power, because it is so intrinsic in everything that you will do. Where attention goes, energy flows. So to say, where you pay your attention, you pay your energy. How much is your energy worth? Where have you been paying your energy that wasn't worth that price? This not only applies to where you're paying your visual attention, but also how are you speaking in your life? Are you speaking in a way that's bringing the things into your life that you need in an accurate way? Or are you speaking from a place of lack mentality or poverty mindset that will only lead to more strife in the end? So that instead of saying, oh, I wish I had, or I feel so lonely, or I wish I had love, say that I know I am loved and I love myself. And love from others comes inevitably through that. And so it can be hard to find the exact recipe in this way, but it brings a truer result once you do know how to put in the code. Or instead of thinking about dangers, which a lot of our brains get caught in fear mechanisms because of unfiltered ideas from your root center of safety and security, or misfiltered or fragmented ideas within the center, the local field of safety and security. If you say, I am safe, and find ways to understand that you are safe, rather than saying, I feel so scared that, what if I fear that? You say, I'd feel safer if, I feel more safe when, I feel safe when, I am secure because, etc. With this and the neurolinguistic programming concepts that I was talking about before, or the symbol and brainwave state concepts that I was talking about before, you might starting to put together a clearer picture of some of the key things that you may have been doing up until this point in your life that were causing detriment to your own system repetitively. And you might be seeing many ways of possibilities to claim your power, to change these things. Take a second to define for yourself the symbols for the following, that are your symbols for the following. Not symbols that you've heard, or symbols that you know of, but things that you identify with the following feelings: love, protection, healing, calmness, willpower, light, courage, creativity, mystery, unknown or darkness, chaos, chance, randomness. Then take a look at that list and take your most powerful ones, the ones that really trigger emotions for you. These can be used to bring about these brainwave states. Okay, dense, but let's take a second to talk about quantum stuff, right? The laws of physics that allow all of these principles to be applied. First, let's talk about light. Light is both a particle and a wave, right? Light has been shown to collapse into certainty when witnessed. Light is the only reason why we can see anything, which, by the way, all we can see is like 10% of what exists. 90% of the known universe is completely undetectable to us, of the matter that is in the known universe. We can't even detect. We can't see. We can't feel it. As well as Schrodinger's principles that suggest that light only exists as waveforms, right, until we collapse it. So then, is there a cat in the box if the cat is not being seen in the box? Does anything exist until witnesses have agreed to look upon it, or that it exists in the first place? Then when you count very popular theories like simulation theory and procedural generation, the possibilities of procedural generation of our universe, things start to get weird. And there haven't even also recent experiments entanglement that show and the possibility that every particle that aim a photon through a cloud of atoms with another particle, it doesn't or entrains with another particle's oscillation, because there's a law of entrainment, it affects all of the ones it passes and laws of synchronicity and excites cause things to sync to each other. So that is the light and be affected by each other instantaneously through time, space, all interacting, right? And we are like bodies, right? Literally have things, but meridians. It suggests that every particle that comes in contact with any other literally have bioluminescence. You can't see it with your eyes instantly, because we are very limited affecting that particle until the entropy has occurred. You are a light being, an interdimensional being, living in a human experience, dipping in and out randomly, or not so randomly if you're controlling that with how your brain is functioning and the conscious states or subconscious states that you're entering in and through, right? So let's talk about the biofield specifically, right? And the types of ideas that are held here. So you have very basic ideas that are filtered through these centers, which translate to emotion through your endocrine glands. So you have safety and security attached to your adrenal gland. You have creation and tantric energy attached, and self-love attached to the reproductive organ, the reproductive glands. Attached to the solar plexus is your feelings of confidence and self-esteem and power, personal intuition. Attached to the thymus gland, you have your heart center, compassion, love, joy, kindness, wisdom, heart's wisdom, which is a little bit different than third eye wisdom. But then you move to your thyroid gland, and you have the way that you express yourself and the way that you express your inner truth. Then you move to your pineal gland, very important and one that people talk about all the time. So the pineal gland is the third eye, which has retinal cells in it, and intakes light just like your eyes, which casts efferent projections on your suprachiasmatic nucleus, which determines all of your circadian rhythms. So literally the entire reality that you are perceiving, and the bandwidth of realities that you can receive, all determined here. Your wisdom and your ability to perceive realities outside your own specific reality. Right. So then on your pituitary gland, you have your connection to everything, the way that you place yourself in the world. And when we're forming our pituitary gland, and we're going through that big, phase of pituitary action known as adolescence or moratorium, we are finding how we fit in the universe, right? Moratorium, the most pituitary active time in our lives. So when we have dense emotions or low vibrating emotions, they are usually maladapted and attached to these centers so that you can apply the higher vibrations, the ones that I just said, to them in the positive speaking manner that I was speaking of before, to transmute these dense emotions and essentially help yourself reframe and defragment some of the maladapted thoughts and ideas within your biofield. Understand that this is psychonautics. This is being an astronaut within yourself. You will find all sorts of strange manners of things within this path. Some terrifying, and some enlightening, and some beautiful, and some vivid, and some blurry, and some confusing, and some astounding. But there is a universe in there to explore. And this is just basically your astronaut suit. The most important part with all of these fluctuating energies is to be gentle with yourself through the process and allow yourself to know that it is a part of the process. Whatever it is, it's just a part of the process, and nothing that you're doing here by existing is in a wrong way. That's very important in all of this. And also, remember to drink your water and have a proper diet for your body type. This looks different for everybody, but make sure to eat a lot of living foods with light in them and not so many processed dead foods from boxes or freezers. As a general rule, yes, eat fresh, eat live, drink water, and keep your thoughts and voice, your speech patterns high vibrational as well. And that is the end. That is everything you might need to take the first steps kind of safely, and understanding that it's going to be a long journey, but now you have some general tools that may help you to have a broader understanding of what your path might look like. And that answer is really just truly winding. The best symbol to keep in mind is the unalome, which I will probably have on the screen here. And it reminds us that there's backwards, there's upside down, there's sideways, but it all leads to one thing regardless. It's all connected, and it's all oneness at the end of the cycle. At the end of all the division, it's just the same thing dividing itself to look back at itself as whole again and go, wow, like over and over. So that's the beautiful thing about it. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to let me know. I have tons of projects in the making. I'm working on Biofield Arcadia, which is a game that teaches bioenergetic alchemical transmutation principles, like I talked about with the Biofield. and it teaches it in a really fun kind of D&D magic card playing type way. So I'm really excited about that I'm trying to put out. I am actually moving to Virginia Beach, Virginia as well, and starting a shop, a physical location, another physical location, hoping that this one takes off a little bit better than my last one did, but in my house in VA, in Virginia Beach. So that's going to be a wicked awesome adventure that I hope to see, people able to heal and access a little bit more of my work. I'm also working on creating a digital sacred space, the Higher Vibration Temple. Right now it does exist on Discord, and it also exists on my TikTok, where I do the TikTok Shaman's Office every weekday. So that's something to check out. Don't forget that you can donate to me on my Linktree, which is in the bio of my TikTok at Priestess Lissa Mystic, and it's also in the bio of my Instagram at Lissa Mystic. I would check out my Patreon if you are interested in having a one-on-one helping track with me. I also offer a crisis help tier of my Patreon for $35 a month, which allows you 24-hour access for if you're a person who's in crisis often and have a hard time maintaining health care, that you can kind of connect to. On that level, I am certified to administer psychological first aid, so I offer that tier on my Patreon as well. Don't forget to share this if you like it or you know someone who might benefit greatly from the information. It would mean a lot if you subscribed, if you needed to be here. Know that I do my very best to make accessible help for all of you. So just drop a comment and tell me what you need, and I will try to put information out that will help you for a long-term period. Stay blessed, be gentle with yourself, and remember, kindness is free, and it's up to us to change the world and decide to do better and vibrate higher.